It is known from the original fairy tale that this is a little boy who flew out of a baby's cradle on his 7th birthday. He went back to Kensington Gardens, that's the name of the English Royal Park. There Peter made friends with fairies and elves. Here's what Peter tells Wendy: "I heard Mom and Dad talking about who I would be when I grew up and became an adult man. And I don't want to become a grown man at all. I want to always be small and play. So I ran away and settled among the fair." As sad as it may be, it becomes clear that next we will talk about a dead child. Yes, Peter died and his soul returned to Kensington Gardens. According to the plot, all boys and girls are born there as birds and only then turn into children. And adult birds refer them to their parents, but Peter didn't turn back into a bird. He remained a little boy. He's always 7 without 2. He even had all his baby teeth. The old raven, the most important bird in the park, who plays the role of an elder, calls the boy neither this nor that. Peter cannot return to his original bird state and cannot become a man of flesh. He was stuck in the image of a disembodied spirit. It's more of a creature than a person, but that's half the trouble. Peter picks up the children who also fell out of the stroller, that is, they died. With these lost children, he moves to the country of Neverland. Which literally means no and will not be, or non-land, no, and it won't be. What kind of country is this? Where is it? Nowhere. She is only in Peter's imagination. There is no non-land without it. During Peter's absence, the whole country freezes. Time in non-land also flows unusually. Everything is looped there. Indians hunt for lost boys, predatory animals hunt for Indians, pirates hunt for animals, Peter Pan pirates, and so on in a circle. The country of Neverland is very interesting. Those who don't really exist live there. For example, in addition to missing children, Indians live in Neverland. And we know that most of the population was wiped out by Europeans. It is home to predatory animals, of which there are very few left in the wild because of humans. Mermaids live there, folklore characters who never existed. And most importantly, pirates live there. During flights, Peter often forgets about the children he took on the trip. Every time he looks at them in surprise, not understanding who they are, Peter sometimes flew away from them because he could fly much faster. Sometimes he suddenly disappears from sight. He had his own adventures there, which he did not find it necessary to tell them about. And it also happened that when he returned, he looked at them strangely, as if he had time to forget who they were. He had strange, unrecognizable eyes. Peter shows cruelty and even sadism towards Wendy's brothers. During the flight, one child got tired of flying and started falling down. When Peter saw this, he laughed and screamed with joy. Wendy was barely able to persuade him to help, and his brother was saved at the last second.
"Save him now!" Wendy screamed, staring in horror at the cold, angry sea below them.
In the end, Peter dived after him and picked him up at the last minute, when he was about to hit the surface of the water. I must say, he did it very gracefully and deftly. But Wendy was angry with him because he admired himself too much at the same time, and showing off was more important to him than saving a person's life. Peter's stay on the island is a separate topic. Peter is acting like a little dictator. Children should obey him and live the way he wants. Even children can only eat for fun, go to bed, play, only on Peter's orders. Peter is not familiar with the natural needs of man, so he does not care that the boys are hungry. All violations are severely punished. Peter treated Captain Hook very unfairly. He proved himself to be a bloodthirsty and heartless creature. He cut off the captain's hand and fed it to a crocodile. Since then, the crocodile has been hunting the Hook, dreaming of swallowing it whole. Not a good boy at all, is he? At the same time, Peter is sure that everyone should treat him fairly, so he is very offended when Hook injured him fraudulently. He stood and stared at Hook, unable to lift the hand that held the knife. Every child reacts the same way when they encounter injustice for the first time in their life. And no one is ever able to forget this first injustice afterwards. No one except Peter. That was the difference between him and all the other people. Therefore, now that he was faced with injustice, it was like the first time for him. That's why he could only stare at Hook, offended and helpless. And Hook drove his iron claw into him twice. Peter is not as kind as it might seem. Yes, he has positive traits, it's savvy, the ability to fantasize, openness. But all this is covered by the huge void that it consists of. Peter is empty. Hence the lack of empathy for people and cruelty. There are no strong feelings in him, only a childish resentment against his parents and loneliness, from which he tries to escape by luring children into Nonland. By the way, it is loneliness that unites him and Captain Hook, which makes them equal heroes, and their resistance is eternal. Yes, it begs the thought that Peter Pan is the angel of death, leading children into the world of the dead. Where there are blooming gardens, time goes in a circle and old age never comes. Even the surname, Pen, goes back to the ancient Greek god Pan, the spirit of forests, fields and pastures. Peter Pan is also a child of nature. He plays the pipe, wears plant clothes and lives among the trees.
The song was stopped by a shrill scream coming from the cabin. He flew all over the ship and fell silent. After that, there was a cockcrow, which was so familiar to the boys, and seemed even more eerie to the pirates than the scream a minute ago.
Pen is known for his sudden appearance and screams, which caused panic among travelers. So Peter likes to crow like a rooster, sometimes for no reason. After reading the book, you begin to appreciate life in a new way and, most importantly, you come to understand that it is impossible to be a child forever, and growing up is an obligatory stage in every person's life.